Really excited. One of our absolute favorite guests of the program with us this morning, and I know he's going to be in a great mood because the Buckeyes are national champs. Hugh Hewitt with us on the program. Hugh, good morning to you.
Great mood does not begin to tell you, Scott, how fine of a day it is. And a fine evening before that, and I suppose, given how good they were, this will last for many a year.
This is a great run by the Buckeyes. Now, to be clear, I got to tell you, I'm a Michigan football fan.
What?
I am, but see, it is not by birth, it is by adoption. I have very little ties to D1 football squads. My dad went to DePaul University, no football team. My brothers went to Marquette. My uncle went to UIC. I went to a D3 school. So when I was young, I had to find a team to root for, and I liked the Wolverines. So I say congratulations, and at least you got one championship in before Jim Harbaugh comes and stomps all over you.
Scott, I'm actually a Michigan law grad.
Yes.
My alma mater, but I nevertheless overcame that because I understand it poisons the soul and generally destroys the character. And so there's still an opportunity for you to come over to to leave the dark side and come over to the light. And you can trade out if it's not that, if they haven't stapled their darkness onto you, you can come over and be a Buckeye.
Now, would any of the Buckeye quarterbacks on the roster this year been a better choice for the Browns than Brian Hoyer and Johnny Manziel? Or are you still on the Johnny football train?
No, I call myself Johnny Radio, but I am all for if Cardale comes out, that young man can throw the ball, and he is untackleable. As you watched last night, hit him 4 or 5 times, and he just danced away. It was remarkable.
That's a fun game and the conclusion of a great season for the Buckeyes. And, you know, since I am a fan by adoption and not by birth, I do admit to you, Hugh, I was rooting for the Buckeyes last night, for the Big Ten brethren.
That's something I can't really do for Michigan. I probably would have been a fan. Yeah, I'm a little more serious. There were some Michigan people who are Big Ten fans first, not me. They can lose. The only time I root for them is when they play USC, which is the most obnoxious program in America.
Hugh Hewitt with us here. Enjoy his company, enjoy his show, too. And we'll kick around 2016 in Romney. But the other reason he's joined us to make sure people are aware, the weekend show, which I love here on the station, slides an hour earlier in 2015. It'll be on from 6 to 9 p.m. on Saturdays. Heard the John Fisher Burns interview this weekend, which was fantastic. We'll come back to that later. I want to start, Hugh, with your piece from the Examiner and renominating Romney. All of a sudden, the mid-2016 buzz is too loud to ignore. I know you talked to a friend of our program and a friend of your program, Robert Costa, later tonight from the Post, who's been all over this story. Here's the question, I think. Why? Why is Mitt Romney thinking about, and it seems like likely to run again?
Well, I haven't talked to the governor since August of last year when he was on my show and said circumstances can change. But not many of us really expected circumstances to change. We think that was a way of perhaps keeping fluidity in the race. He's not a great believer in the efficacy of a Bush campaign. He thinks that many of the problems that beset him will hit Jeb for the first time and will cripple his campaign. And he wanted to see if Paul Ryan was going to get in, and Paul Ryan took a pass. He wanted to see if Rob Portman would get in. Rob Portman took a pass, and at that point, I think he took a look at the world, whether it's the rise of ISIS and the attacks in Paris, the surging Russia attacks into Crimea, the People's Republic of China challenging in the South China Sea. I think he thinks the world is going to hell in a handbasket, and someone has got to offer up a competency set equal to the tasks that are out there. Now, that's all guessing. I haven't talked to him. I hope I can catch up with him over the weekend or next week and figure out what he's thinking. I won't be with any campaign. I hope to nominate or not nominate, but conduct one of the debates, and I'll be fair to everybody. This is going to be a question of who can persuade us they can beat Hillary, don't you think, Scott?
I think so, right? I am leaning more toward and again, I don't have a dog in the race quite yet, although I do like Scott Walker quite a bit, who is just over the northern border with us in Wisconsin. I like Bobby Jindal quite a bit, but it is far too early in the race to attach yourself to one sled dog. But yeah, you know, trying to figure out who would do the best job about going after Hillary, who can do a better job than in 2012, of course, too. Hugh Hewitt with us, HughHewitt.com. Now, I don't get from Mitt Romney, and you know him a little better than I do, obviously. He's not. Doesn't seem like an ego guy. I don't think he's running because he needs something to do. As you put out in the piece, it seems to be if he were to do so, I just think it really would be for patriotic reasons because he thinks he is the one guy that can do this job the way it needs to be done. And in his mind thinks he is, as you point out, the guy who can knock out Hillary.
Yeah, we all run simulations in our mind. Right now, my simulation, I'm a friend of Senator Cruz's and entertained him at dinner out here to introduce him to some Los Angeles people not long ago. And I think in my mind, but for Mitt Romney, Ted Cruz is the nominee. Now, I don't know if that's what motivated Mitt Romney, but I see Ted doing very well in Iowa, though Huckabee complicates it. I see Ted doing very, very well in South Carolina, though Lindsey Graham complicates that. And I see the first Super Tuesday on March 1 and the second Super Tuesday on March 15th basically going to whomever has the momentum. And so if you want to either block someone or advance your own cause, you've got to be in the field in South Carolina. I think it's by far the most important primary of this season. Not New Hampshire, certainly not Iowa. Iowa's going to be, oh my gosh, what a mess. Between Iowa and Cruz and Rick Santorum and Bobby Jindal all fighting for the Western evangelical vote, and over on the East Coast, on the east side of the state, you've got Jeb and Mitt and Scott Walker. And I love you mentioned Scott Walker. He is everybody's second choice. I've officially nominated him as everybody's second choice.
Hugh Hewitt with us here. It's Riley and Scott on WROK. Jeb Bush, again, looks like he's going to be in. Mitt looks more and more like he's going to be in. I would argue that no potential candidate is harmed more by their entry into the race, if they do both get in, than your Ohio guy, John Kasich, who I like. I think there are some things he has to explain for the expansion of Medicaid in Ohio, of course. He's a Common Core guy, right, John Kasich?
Yeah.
He's a Common Core guy. I think he's got to answer for that, too. But I think he would be a formidable candidate. I don't think anyone's harmed, though, more by the potential Bush-Romney entry than John Kasich. What do you think?
Well, I did. Originally, I thought that, and I thought to myself that maybe because Godzilla and Gorgo are fighting off the coast, Kasich didn't come in. Because if it was only Jeb, I didn't think the governor was going to get in. And if it was a Romney, I don't think he would have gotten in. Because they occupied the same space, the responsible center-right governor. And so now we have two responsible center-right governors. Is there a third responsible center-right governor? Of course, Scott Walker's a responsible center-right governor, but he's got a great deal of appeal to insurgents and Tea Party people for having taken it on the chin from the hard left Union people. So, it's why not? Honestly, why not? If you can't win, Tim Pawlenty's not doing too badly these days.
Yeah.
No one's doing too badly. So why not? They're going to need stadium seating on the debate. And I do believe that Mitt Romney may not participate in the debates, Scott. I think that he might just say, look, everybody knows me. I'll give the space to the other guys, and I'll give one-on-one interviews on the night of the debate to people like Scott Pelley on CBS and Brian Williams on ABC. And so I won't step on their story. I'll wait till it's over, and then I'll comment on it. I'll be like Tim Tebow in the box last night commenting on the Buckeyes. But I'm not going to go stand on the stage and answer the silly questions that are attempted to get me. People know I can beat Barack Obama in a debate. They know I can beat Hillary in a debate.
Right, yeah.
But let's find out. Maybe I'll wait until we get down to one other guy, and then I'll debate him, because I'll be on 50 ballots, and I'll be well organized. Because he can. I think he just puts together a committee and signs up for all the ballots and waits and sees.
Yeah. Hugh Hewitt with us here, HughHewitt.com. You hear him Saturdays here on WROK, 6 to 9 p.m. And pick up the book, too, The Happiest Life, out early last year. Fantastic book, too. Paul Ryan yesterday, congressman from nearby Janesville, announced officially he is not getting in the race. I think if you've been paying attention at all to his maneuvers, his moves the past 6 months, not a surprise. He was not acting like a guy who was going to run for president.
No, he wasn't, and I think one of the things I'm going to talk to COPSA today, like you, to Dr. Philip Rucker, David Drucker, and a couple of other D.C. reporters. When will Paul Ryan formally endorse Mitt Romney? There are two endorsements that matter, Paul Ryan's and John Bolton's. Paul Ryan for domestic policy, John Bolton for foreign policy. And those two guys, I think, can add a lot of heft to someone's campaign. They may not want to, but I would imagine that every candidate in the field would love to have them on their side. Rob Portman is the third. And Jeb, the campaign, the sweepstakes for those three guys is huge.
Hugh Hewitt with us here. John, turning to foreign policy, which actually could be domestic policy, unfortunately, in the near future. Terrorism, Canada, Australia, Paris. You talked with John Fisher Burns last weekend. Again, I was on the weekend show here on WROK on Saturday. I heard most of that hour. A great interview with John Fisher Burns, multiple Pulitzer Prize winner. People here missed that interview. Tell us a little bit about what you gleaned from that conversation with John Fisher Burns about the terrorist attacks in Paris.
Well, for the background of those who didn't hear it, I think he's the best journalist in the world. He's won 2 Pulitzers. He was spent 6+ years in Iraq, 3 years in Afghanistan, was also the bureau chief in Hong Kong and the bureau chief in Tokyo, and now is the senior foreign correspondent for the New York Times. And he's probably 60 years old, maybe 65. Seen everything, done everything, and has a great deal of perspective, and believes that Iraq is now riven by the Shia-Sunni divide in a way that may not be soluble, and that the only way that it could be soluble is for an allied intervention on the scale of that which we've seen before to try and control ISIS. And so there's the voice of wisdom saying it's going to be hard under any circumstances, but right now it's just a paroxysm, a volcano of rage and terrorists unless the West does something. And these little tiny pinprick bombing missions, they don't feel like a pinprick if you're on the receiving end of them. But you can't beat ISIS. You know, the city of Mosul is 1 million people. We've run 70 missions, maybe 100 missions. That's not serious, right? That's a decapitation strategy, which is very, very difficult. So Burns is a pessimist, and I'm a pessimist. And I think that even though al-Sisi is not a liberal Democrat, he's a tough guy, and he throws people in jail, and he shuts down newspapers, he's our best shot. Scott, and I would love to see every newspaper in America carry his remarks at the university in Cairo a week ago Sunday, January 1st, when he basically said to the imams assembled, we have to reform our religion. We need a reformation so that people stop hating us and we stop hating people. That was a good speech.
Yep. John Fisher Burns, the interview, the audio's at HughHewitt.com. People want to check it out. Hugh Hewitt with us here, just 1 more minute, or maybe 2 if you want to take it to 2 minutes. I want to close with this, though, Hugh. The Republicans have control of the Senate. Republicans have control of the House right now in Washington, D.C., and a lot of attention turns to Mitch McConnell. And there is such a divide, I notice, on Mitch McConnell. There are people who follow D.C. very closely who say, Mitch McConnell, listen, he is a very conservative guy. And there are those from the outside who look and say, hey, he's a rhino, right? I love a line from Dan Foster, who worked for National Review for a long time. And actually, this is from a column he wrote for National Review. He's a longtime McConnell observer. He said, when you look to the rightward edge of what is politically possible in Washington, it is there you find Mitch McConnell. He is conservative as is politically possible. Do you agree with that? Do you like Mitch McConnell? Do you trust him to run the Senate?
Very much. I campaigned for him twice in the last 2 weeks. Flew from California to Louisville for him. He is a crocodile, and you see his eyes, and then you're gone under the water. And we need that. And he does operate, I think Foster put that right, on the rightward edge of the politically possible, which is where I live. I've got my whole view is what can we get done, not what we'd like to have done, but what can we get done right now, you know, especially with regard to the courts. What can we shut down? And I believe, I have a great deal of trust in him. He's smart. He's energized. He's, charisma challenged. Okay, fine. He picked the right line of work. You don't need charisma. And you need a command of detail and intrigue and sort of like the House of Cards. He's House of Cards without all the sex and murder. That's who Mitch McConnell is.
And that's not such a bad thing. Hugh Hewitt runs a fantastic radio show. You can hear it Saturdays, 6 to 9 p.m. here on WROK. Check out HughHewitt.com, too, for some of the audio from the daily conversations. I highly recommend The Happiest Life, Hugh's book from last year as well, which you can buy through the website as well. Hugh, here's to a fantastic 2015, except to the AL Central, where the White Sox will be champs. But I hope you have a great start to the year, and we would love to catch up again soon.
Scott, we will take in a game together, but you're wrong because we got the best young pitching team in all of the majors. Be prepared for Klubat.
It's a really nice rotation. Outside of the Twins, I don't know who's losing games in the AL Central this year. It's going to be a dogfight.
We're going to win them all, 1-0. Good.
All right, Hugh Hewitt, thanks so much, and congrats to your Buckeyes, too.
Thank you, Scott. Bye-bye.